Hey everybody, Ben here for the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Tournament Tuesday. So every Tuesday we get together and we have a look at the Blood Bowl events that are happening around the world. So I'm using the NAF tournament list to put this together, so if the details are in there I'll know about it. If there's other tournaments happening 4 or 5 weeks in advance that aren't listed on the NAF and you want to advertise them, then please send us an email or drop it in the comments to one of these videos. We're all about more Blood Bowl is more better, so if we can advertise your event, we absolutely will do. So Saturday the 2nd and Sunday the 3rd of October, let's see what's on. Now if you're in the UK, there's just one event listed on the NAF site for this weekend, which is on the Saturday. It's an 11s event in Walsall, UK, at the BIBBBL Bashers Cup 4. But Europe apparently is where it's all going on this weekend. Jorabowl 5 in Girona, Spain, 11s for the Saturday. Oracular Bowl, Madrid, Spain, Saturday, again 11s. Jorabowl 2 is a 2-day event in Stockholm, Sweden. Orkan Games in France, 2nd and 3rd, 2-day event, all 11s so far. Patatonia con Chorizo, 2021, La Rioja in Spain, again 2-day event. So 2 1-dayers and 1 2-dayer in Spain that weekend. Busy time. And of course we've got a 7s event which is amazing, happening in Denmark, Stairway to 7s, and one event happening over in Australia, the Moab 2021, which is a 2-day 11s event in Sylvania, New South Wales. So let's delve into some of the formats that are happening. So we've got the BIBBBBBL Bashers Cup for Saturday the 2nd of October. 3 rounds of 11s. This is in the West Midlands, UK. So build rules for this one. 1150 team value, so 1,150,000. That's actually what the rulebook recommends. We found that a little bit lower kind of stops the star player spam quite so much, but you want to have a proper build. So 1150 is pretty good. No tiers for this one. Everybody gets 36 SPP. So we're looking at 6 normals basically for every team. So allowing 1150 is about the right amount of cash. Limited skill set here means you're going to be able to choose the team you want to play. I do think tier 1 or tier 2 Underworld with Hackflem here, you can get a pretty good list for 1150. No random weather at the start of every match. Weather only changes if you roll it on the kickoff table. That's kind of a pretty standard rule. It just means that the rules are a little bit more simple, and I'm a big fan of that, especially as we're still you know, in the new zone of this rules. And we've got the Jorabowl 5, so 1 day, 4 rounds here in Salt Girona in Spain. We've got 1150 again, so 1,150,000. Tier 1 gets 44 SPP, Tier 2 gets 50 SPP, and Tier 3 gets 56 SPP. So it's an interesting one. We've normally seen like 36 and stuff like that before, but 44 must allow for a couple of doubles in there as well for Tier 1. There's not a lot different there between Tier 3 and Tier 1. So I think, again, Tier 2 is probably a good place to be for this one. 1150, you can get most of what you want to buy, but with 56 SPP and that cash allowance, you can run a pretty good Morgue build in Tier 3 with a lot of skills for your dudes. The Oracular Bowl is 1 day in Parla, Madrid. 4 rounds, 11s. This one's slightly lower cash value here, 1125, so a little bit less than you would normally see. I can only assume that someone's done the maths here to try and kind of make it as safe as possible. We've got Tier 1, 5 primary, Tier 2, 5 primary, but 1 can be a secondary, and Tier 3, 6 primary, and 2 of them can be boosted up to secondaries. Morgue can only be taken by Tier 3. Now, when it comes to Tier 2, you don't get a lot of cash, so Morgue being in a Chaos Dwarf build with Hackflem, for example, pretty good, but you still got to have 11 players. 1125 keeps it quite cheap. Again, Morgue in a Tier 3 team with 6 primaries is okay. Tier 2, 5 primaries and 1 double, you know, packed, Chaos Chosen, you get that 1 double, that 1 secondary skill that can allow you to put block on a Minotaur if you run it. 1125 though, you're not really running Minotaur with Hackflem. You need to be 1200 really for that build. Interesting one. Tier 2 again looking pretty good, but I think at this low value with 5 primary skills, Tier 1 is going to perform pretty nicely. And there's the 2-day event over in Alpha Spell, Stockholm, Saturday the 2nd and Sunday the 3rd of October. 6 rounds over 2 days, 11s format. 1100 gold pieces for your team, so low TV, 6 tiers here. So do check out the event on the NAF to see how they split the tiers. It's basically just opened up tier 1, 2 into 5 different tiers, with tier 6 being the classic stunties. So SPP wise, 27, 33, 39, 45, 53, 74 SPP there for for your tier 4, for your tier 6 guys, for the stunties and things. That's a ton of SPP. Now again, 45, 53, so the lower end of those tiers, so Khemri, vampires, maybe not Nurgle, but although once Nurgle gets some block, they get pretty decent on the go. Those are going to be able to take just potentially the most of that extra skill allowance, because it's gonna start amounting to an extra, 60, 80, 100 team value, and that really does start to put a difference in. Up to 2 players can have 2 stacked skills, and up to 2 players can have double skills across the board. 2 players can get random skills, and the TOs roll these before the day, and you are stuck with them the whole weekend, which is a very cool way of doing the randoms. I think if we ever run randoms, it will probably be every single round, because of the overhead here, and it's just kind of more fun that way. But this is a much safer logistical way of doing it. So the Moab is a Australian tournament, 2 days, 11s, 6 rounds. Now again, we've got a bunch of different tiers here. So 4 tiers in this one. Tier 1 is 1160 team value, tier 2 1200, tier 3 and tier 4 1250 values here. With an additional skill allowance for game 4. So games 1, 2, 3 is day 1, games 4, 5, 6 is day 2. So going into day 2, you get boosted skills. We don't see that a lot, or I don't feel like we've seen that a lot on this show anyway. How some events do that, either incremental skills over rounds or days. I like it. I actually like it. It gives you that feeling of incremental advantage. It just feels good. So tier 1 gets an extra 40k, tier 2 gets an extra 50k, tier 3 gets an extra 50k as well. So tier 3 sitting at 1300 at this point. Tier 4 gets 70k, so 1320. Not a big boost for our tier 4 friends there. So 1200 though for tier 1 versus 1320 going into game 4, 5, 6 for those tiers. That's quite a bit of change there. Now, there's one of these where there's so much stuff going on. It was the Jorabowl actually, so we'll come to that. We'll come back to the Jorabowl because it's got all the different lists. But I mean, tier 2 being split down is what we're seeing quite a lot, and giving the extra 50k there for the bottom end of tier 2, which now becomes tier 3, is pretty decent. So Orcan Games happening in wow, how am I going to get this wrong? La Salvetat Saint-Gilles, don't know. La Salvetat St. Gilles in France. Sorry guys. 2 days, 6 rounds potentially. Not a lot of detail here. 1100 TV, 6 tiers, weren't listed on the NAF site. SPP buy though, ranging from 36 all the way to 66 for the bottom tier. Again, I do think that when it comes to that kind of format, tier 2 is potentially right. 1100 is low. You can still get Hack Phlegm in there, for example. And that means you're going to get Hack Phlegm and what, 5 regular skills for that team? That is enough to really start putting it on. Tier 1 teams can be formed with 1100, but having probably only about 6 regulars might be alright. Dark Elves will probably still be fine, but look for Dwarves because they can still capitalise. Any team with tackle are going to do really well in this environment. And the 7s event, Denmark, Stairway to 7s 2, just on the Saturday. 6 rounds of 7s, 600k build, 4 tiers, and they've got this mechanic where you get skills, but they are random. So you roll and pick. So you roll 2 actually and pick per skill allowance. So when it comes to tier 1, that's 1 skill. So you roll 2 skills, pick 1. 2 skills at tier 2, and 3 at 3, and 4 at 4. It's quite a clever way to do it, and especially with 7s in the Death Zone book, heavily prioritizing random skills for players. It is in line with the new 7s event. I think where 7s is so quick, you can afford to have a little bit more pick and choose. I know it's going to kind of brew up to optimal builds, but I really don't think it is. Anyway, 6 rounds of 7s with some random skills. That's just going to be so much fun. And the fact the skills are random means you won't see leader, you won't have to ban leader if you want to have it in there. It does mean that some of the safer teams, I mean, I really think humans are going to do great in this. Humans are fantastic in 7s. Humans and high elves with this format would be my pick. Just going to bounce back to the Jorabowl. So there was 6 tiers in here. So tier 1, Dark Elf, Dwarf, Lizards, Shambling Undead, Wood Elves get 27 SPP. Amazon, Chaos Dwarf, Human, Norse, Orc and Skaven at tier 2 get 33 SPP. That's interesting. I've not seen Wood Elves do that well. But, you know, Chaos Dwarf has, but that's been very heavily influenced by star players. Tier 3, Black Orc, Elf Union, Imperial Nobility, Necromantic Horror, Old World Alliance, Tomb Kings and Slan kind of your more agility based tier 2 teams at that point. Tier 4 Chaos Chosen, High Elf and Underworld Denizens. I think Underworld and High Elf at tier 4, a bit sleepers there. With this TV they can get what they need. Tier 5 Renegade, Nurgle, Khorne and Vamps. Again, I think underrating the Renegades there. 53 SPP. What the heck is that? How does that work out? 8 regular skills and some change? That's a ton of skills there, so you can get a couple of doubles in. And tier 6 is obviously 74 SPP for those ones. Now, in an environment like this, it gives you so much crunch, so much flexibility that actually there's a lot of stuff you can do there. And I really enjoy that because it adds a whole ton of depth. It does mean you've got more choices to make ahead of time, but hey, the game outside the game is still the game. Anyway guys, those are all the events going on there. We didn't have time to look at every one of them, and I don't think the details were fully on the NAF site. So really, if you want to know what's going on with tournaments in the Blood Bowl, check the NAF website. They do have a tournament list. And if you're putting on a Blood Bowl tournament, put the information on the NAF website. Like, it's a really good resource there that collates all of the info. If you guys know of a better resource for Blood Bowl tournaments, then please let me know. I think potentially we should start a Blood Bowl Facebook group that is just about tournaments, so we can just do tournament posting. But hey, Facebook. Anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up now. Thank you ever so much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content, we get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.